welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for returning. I clearly have already had too much coffee today. This is actually cup number 3 for me, but I woke up really early this morning because I was actually really excited and inspired because I had such a cool day yesterday. I got to hang out at the Instagram headquarters in Manhattan, and we listened to a really insightful panel from Instagram employees and Eva Chen and some really big influencers, and it's just given me tons of ideas, and I'm kind of writing out a new strategy for my social media. So I thought it was the perfect time to do a Q&A on this topic because I get a lot of DMs and emails and comments from people that follow me on Instagram asking about these things. So I put a thing on my stories up yesterday asking if there were specific questions you guys wanted answered, and I actually got quite a few. So I'm gonna do my best to answer them all. But gotta let you know now, which I said yesterday at Instagram, is there's no secret sauce and there's no like magic formula that you can follow, like, you know, word for word, and then you're gonna be an overnight success. It's a slow climb, but that's actually the way you want to do it. You want to have a slow and steady climb so that you have like real engaged followers that really believe in you and love you for what you're doing and the content you're creating, instead of just, you know, a million empty followers. Although a million sounds really nice right now. So I thought the first question to start with, which is a good place to begin, is asking how I got started and, you know, what my official job title is, which is kind of a funny one to put into like one title. But I've been blogging for about 6 years now, and I would say I got onto Instagram about 5 years ago, but that was back in the day when everything was a square and we actually used Instagram filters as our editing techniques. You know, like there was Calvin, that like really orange one. Oh, there's Valencia. Valencia was like my life. That one like made everything better. Obviously it's come a long way since then, and so has my Instagram personally, and it's a big part of my job. It's not my whole job. I'm not just an Instagrammer, but I am a full-time digital content creator, and a lot of that is making social media content, mostly for Instagram. And then probably the second most asked question is asking about the algorithm, which I feel like is like dumb like algorithm. Everyone freaked out when Instagram changed its algorithm to what it is today instead of having chronological order posts, and they told us yesterday the algorithm is not going anywhere. Like, it's never gonna go back to the way it was, and so I know it's upset a lot of people, and they feel like they're not getting the same kind of results when they're posting. But we kind of have to deal with it and kind of make a new strategy, and they say it's meant to help us, and it's meant to show you the posts that they think you want to see. And so if you want to see more of someone's posts, what you're meant to do is you're meant to engage with them more, which means if you want people to see your posts more, you have to generate that engagement from your followers so that your stuff is popping up in their feeds more often. So someone asked, how do you increase your visibility with this new algorithm? So basically, the number one tip I would give when I put this into place, I've definitely felt more of a growth, is posting more often. Now, if you're posting once a week and you're hoping to grow, I'm sorry, but I don't know how you're really gonna grow that way, because it's kind of like, you know, you're one raindrop like in a thunderstorm. There's so much content being pushed out every day, like every single minute, every single second, so many posts, that the more you're posting, the more likely your followers are gonna see your posts. So I used to post once a day. That was kind of my schedule, and then once I bumped that up to twice a day during the week on weekdays, because I feel like weekends people are doing their own thing. But once I started posting twice a day, I definitely felt more of a growth push in my follower count. But saying that, it's a lot more work, you know, creating 14 pieces of unique content a week, like, is a lot more work than just posting once a day. But if you can do it, I highly suggest it. Something they said yesterday as well is don't just get stuck on, like, if you're a fashion blogger, posting like that one outfit once and then moving on to the next one. Like, show it in different settings, show it styled slightly differently, show a detail shot, or even post like a small like candid video of you like in the photo location, and like let that outfit come to life. That way there you already have like 3 or 4 different kinds of posts that you can spread out in your feed. So if someone maybe didn't see your first post because of the algorithm, they would probably more likely see the second or third post and engage with that content. Another tip for visibility is to make use of location tags. I always tag my locations no matter where I am, but I often see people that they don't do that, or they just like do like, say like if we're in New York, they just do like New York, but like tag the neighborhood you're in or the specific location if you're on like if you're near a monument or a tourist attraction, because think about all the people that are going to be searching for that specific location tag. And then the next question, which is a really important one, is how do I increase my engagement? And let's first talk about why engagement is important. I would say maybe 2 years ago, it was all about the follower count. You know, if you were working with a brand or a new client, you would say your follower number, and that was kind of like your ticket. Like that was all that really mattered. And now your engagement rate is so important. They really want to see how many likes you have per photo, how many comments, what is the quality of the comments, like are they just emojis, or do people really care about the products that you're posting or what you're doing and creating? If you have a high engagement rate, you can leverage that to monetize your post for more money. Asking, you know, how do you increase your engagement? It's not really like a simple answer. What I did, I kind of restructured my whole social media strategy a little while ago, and what I did to figure out what I needed to do is I looked at my analytics. And now Instagram has like an amazing back end where you can see so many different stats, all of your demographics, like on a business account, male or female, how old they are, what time of the day they're looking at Instagram. And that's really important to keep note of. And every 3 months or so I sit down and I go back in that and I go over it and see what's doing well and what's not doing well. What I do is I go to my main content page for my posts, and I would put on like 6 months, pages that have the most impressions, the most comments, the most likes, and the most saves. And I think saves are so important to look at, because think about it, if you're scrolling through your feed and you see something that catches your eye, you'll stop and you'll look at it for, you know, an extra second. If you like it, you'll double tap it and you'll give it a like. If you really like it, you'll comment on it. But if you love it, you'll save it, because that means you want to go back to the content and see it again for whatever reason that is. And if people are really saving your photos, that means they're loving that content. And another thing with that is pushing your engagement rate up. A big thing is replying to your comments. It drives me nuts when I see other influencers, like their followers are asking them questions, they want to know about what they're doing, and the questions are just sitting there unanswered. You know, we're putting all this content out. If someone's taking the time to comment, I feel like you should always take the time to comment back and also answer all of your questions on DMs. Another popular question is, how do I get more followers? And again, it's really not a simple answer, but I feel like if you find your niche and your community, I feel like then you grow within that community much faster than just being like just a fashion blogger or just a food blogger. I feel like we all have so many like facets to our personalities, and you can really show that through your social media. And I know sometimes it's hard, you know, people, it's kind of like a buzzword right now, like niche. Everyone's, you know, you got to find your niche and then create within that bracket. But it's kind of hard sometimes to know exactly what your, you know, calling is or what your niche is. But I think a little tip that helped me is think about what people come to you for advice for. And then that will give you a starting point on what you need to create more content for. Like for me, I've always been into fashion, but about 2 years ago, I realized that my friends were always, you know, texting me from Sephora saying like, what's the better lipstick to buy? Or asking me what face mask to use if they're breaking out, or, you know, what hair tool to use to get like subtle, effortless waves. And I always like loved talking about beauty products, and I was like, why am I not doing that on my social media? I have a passion for it. And I definitely felt like the beauty space was, you know, booming, and there was all these YouTubers and Instagrams with these like amazingly produced videos with like cool intros and songs and like effects, and I was like, I can't do that, like they're killing it. Like I didn't want to even try. But once I opened up the conversation and started speaking about my favorite things on my Instagram stories and then in my feed, it was amazing, and it just started this whole new conversation with my community, and it's really grown from there. Another tip for gaining more followers, or at least getting more eyes on your account, is to collaborate. Now, we do a lot of collaborations with brands, but collaborating within your community with your peers and, you know, other influencers or other photographers or models or whatever industry you're in is really, really important, and it can be a really great way to cross-promote the two of your followings. Because if you're taking photos together and you're both posting photos from that shoot, each of your followers are seeing it, and it's an easy click to get new eyes on your account, and if they like you, they'll hopefully follow you. Another big topic that we were talking about yesterday at Instagram was hashtags. People were asking, you know, should we still be using hashtags? Is just the shadow ban still around, etc., etc.? And they definitely had to bust the myth that the shadow ban exists. If you don't know what that is, it was like a rumor that was going around maybe for the last 2 years that your posts would be hidden if you use specific hashtags. They said that does not exist. They also said don't overdo it on the hashtags, and rather put them in your title bar when you're posting your image so that it shows up as you're posting. If you post your photo or video and then later on, like a few hours or a few days later, add the hashtag in the comments, it will go into the hashtags channel, but it will show up in the date and time that you posted the photo and not the hashtag. So if you post it later on, it will get lost beneath all of the new posts that have come up after that. Another big topic yesterday that we spoke about is video. Instagram stories is the best tool to show your personality, which will make people relate to you more and like you more and connect with your content much, much more. Yesterday at Instagram, they said that people get followed for 4 main reasons, and that is entertainment, information, education, or inspiration. So they come to your account for one of those things, but they stay because of your personality. So again, showing as many facets of yourself, whether it's like your humor or your life at home, or if you have a cute pet or your friends, any of those things makes you more of a human being behind the screen, which makes people connect with you way more and engage with your posts. And then also with video is posting videos in your actual feed. And I know that that can be really daunting. I've only recently started doing it, and I know it takes so much more time than shooting photos, but they said that it doesn't always have to be this highly produced, like cinematic short film. Like you don't have to win an Oscar with this. It can just be like a cute little candid moment, like filmed on your phone, minimal editing and filters, and just like showing more of your day in motion, which again makes people feel like they're there with you a little bit more. Show like behind the scenes of what you're shooting, if you see, like if you're at a beautiful place, if you're traveling, or even just at home, like what you're doing day to day. People really want to see those real life moments. So those were like the main questions that came through, and I have so much more I can talk about on this topic, as well as, you know, more technical things about photography and editing for Instagram, as well as how to monetize, when the right time to do that is, how much you should charge for posts, when you need a manager, all those kinds of things. And if you guys want to know, please comment below, and I'm happy to make more videos. I can make a series out of this if you're interested. So just let me know and give it a thumbs up if you like this video, and I hope you guys have a great day, and see you on Instagram.